Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is your spot. A busy 3-hour Monday program lined up today with some great guests. Nick Whalen coming up in 30 minutes. Futures, props, and more with him. Anthony DeBundo on the World Cup. It has been awesome so far. We'll start with that coming up in a minute here. Jeff Sherman, longtime Vegas odds maker on the World Cup and the U.S. Open this week. And Paul Stone as well, coming up back end of the show today, professional sports bettor. And he has some college games of the year in football that he likes and U.S. Open bets with him at that time as well. So we're going to start with the World Cup because it was bonkers earlier today. And Spain, like the co-favorites along with France to win this event, to start the morning like that and to get underway with the first match and to end in a scoreless draw against Cape Verde, which I know that you saw the scoreless draw, and the draw at all, Paulie, was between like 11 and 13 to 1. And you saw, I'm sure, for those of you on social media saw this, for those of you who didn't, I mean, there was somebody on Polymarket who put $1,000 on Spain just to win today. It would have paid $85,000 and change. That is a rough way to begin your Monday morning here.
I can't believe some of the bets that have been made. Huge bets on these sides. Someone put a lot of money on Belgium before the match, and they're down 1-0. But the keeper for Cape Verde has now picked up over 2 million followers on Instagram.
I believe he started with 50,000.
They were ranked 67th. Spain was second. And here it is. After all the shots and 74% possession, they can't solve the keeper and put one through. So as high as 28 to 1. Somebody said they saw 70 to 1 at Betfair, 0-0. In any event, 28 to 1 here at Circa for 0-0. And so that prop cashes where every match will have a goal with the no. I know it was 100 to 1.
Oh, that's right.
With the yes, so we finally get one of those. You are now up 18 units if you bet every match to be a draw. So we're doing this again, much like hockey. It's been a fantastic start with several upsets in what Australia did, but this one.
Oh, the dogs are absolutely barking.
Yeah, it reminds me of 4 years ago when we were on the air in the middle of the night, an Argentina thing happened.
Yeah, and they got beat by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So the shots on goal in this match, think about this. Spain outshot them 27-6. Corner kicks 11-1. The crosses were 27-3. Are you serious? And 74% possession like you talked about with Spain. Cape Verde has, when you compare these two clubs,
the population?
612,000 compared to Spain with 48 million people.
Yes.
Their FIFA World ranking 70th overall. And, in that range, when you look at other power ratings, I have yet to look up or Google Cape Verde just because I know it's going to look like, in my head, it's going to be God's country. And it's going to be like, oh, that would be the ultimate vacation to get to at some point, and it's never going to happen. So I've yet to even, I know it's off of Africa, but that's pretty much all I know. And it's an island or many islands by itself. Mm-hmm. So for them to be competitive, and they were plus 2.5 goals, by the way, and that was the right side, or turn out, I don't know, was it the right side when you're outshot by that much and the keeper has to be that good? I would say plus the 2.5 probably.
Yeah.
But it was a no sweater, really, if you had the plus 2.5 on them.
And play dream. Keep betting the under and draw.
Yeah.
Once that got to like the 35th minute, you probably had a good feeling about it. But then again, you'd think at some point they'd be able to solve them and put one through. So a ton of surprises off the bat, and we're not even a week in. And I love this 4 matches every day for like the next, we got like 10 more days of it, too.
I know.
This is great.
There was another trader on a prediction market that put more than $2.3 million on Cape Verde to not win today. And they ended up winning less than $100,000 on that.
The bridge jumpers.
Oh, they are everywhere, Paulie.
Yeah. Yeah. So the guy who has Belgium, he's in trouble. Egypt was 5-1. And I know you have BTTS, and that's cashed in a lot of these as well. So the both teams to score, sometimes you get a plus price on that as well. And the exact score's been good. I thought the Netherlands match was fantastic.
It was great.
That 4 goals in the second half, the 2-2 draw, that was awesome. Stunned by what Australia did. And I think the other big story is us, how we just blitzed Paraguay and how good we looked with the 4-1 win and how big goal differential is. And And if we can do it again and knock off Australia on Friday afternoon.
Oh, now they're Team USA here now minus 240 in that range to win the group. I mean, everything absolutely broke the way. That's a dream break right there for them. To play like that against Paraguay and then to have that result from over the weekend where Australia defeated Turkey. And I'll tell you, so the amount, I watched a specific window of that match, and it was after Australia scored to make it 1-0. I forget what I was doing, but I turned in at that time. And from that stretch on, I fell asleep right before they scored again to make it 2-0. The period of the match that I watched for like 30 plus minutes, I thought it was all Turkey. I thought they absolutely dominated the match, but they couldn't come up with a goal. And then they lost 2-0 like that. And how many people made the case on this network for Turkey to win the group?
Very popular.
And now forget.
Yep.
You don't want to say forget it, but they're up against it now at this point for sure.
Yep. Ecuador was popular too.
I know
They got
it.
off to a bad start. That was crazy. That had the most shots that hit the post in a World Cup match since 1982 with the Ecuador match. That was crazy. And then all the woodwork. And then Sweden was phenomenal as well.
Yeah, scoring 5
with
like
the,
that.
With the 5-1. They were great. They could have scored 8 goals. They had a guy at a wide open net. He shot it over the goal, and then they had several other chances where the guy missed it or there was an offsides or something else happened. So they could have scored 8 if they had some breaks in that game.
Well, and there's a reason why I have both teams to score in the match that's going on right now, second half, about to start up in Seattle. What a Chamber of Commerce day, the way it looks on TV here up in Seattle. And by the way, that's going to be the city for USA against Australia on Friday at noon Pacific time. It's gonna be one of the events of the Knicks just won, so I can't say of the year, but it's going to be absolutely phenomenal up in the Pacific Northwest, and they love their soccer. Nigel and the boys have been on fire, and they tipped off everybody, I think, with Nigel and the team there, and he puts up all of his handicaps and his bets at vsin.com as well. He was all about the both teams to score in this match. We got one in about the 20th minute or so from Egypt. Let's get the equalizer here from Belgium.
It's got a nice write-up. He likes Uruguay, laying the goal. They're minus 220 on the money line. And I would expect, hopefully, the 0-0 detector's out, but under in the Iran-New Zealand match. And New Zealand, I think the lowest-ranked team in the FIFA rankings, 85th, as they go in the 6 o'clock Pacific game.
I laid half a goal there with Iran.
Yeah, okay.
That's the way I
2.5 under minus 170. Where you can go under 2, but I don't see much happening in that game.
Yeah, here's some notes that Nigel sent out at vsin.com on the Saudi Arabia-Uruguay game. Saudi stunned Argentina. Again, we referenced that earlier in the show to open up the 2022 Cup. Argentina went on to win the whole thing, but Saudi sacked their manager 2 months ago. They only have one player on the roster playing abroad. Nigel thinks that they're going to lack experience and overall quality of previous generations that this country's had out there on the pitch. Their only win in 2026 came against Puerto Rico, 154th overall in FIFA rankings. Uruguay opted against playing in friendlies. They finished above Brazil in the South American standings with a plus 10 goal differential while playing Argentina, Brazil, and Colombia twice. They drew 1-1 with England, and it was a scoreless draw against Algeria. I will see. I mean, he doesn't expect the dog to be barking here. But that's been kind of the story so far, though, of the tournament, other than USA and Germany looking so good.
Yes.
And I'll tell you some of the beats, though, with the late minute goals that we get, because I had the Netherlands minus a half a goal in that game against Japan. And when you get beat on a goal in the 89th minute, that's never a good feeling.
Yep. So was it, do we get to be upgraded significantly, or do you lower Paraguay after what happened? Because we were 17th and they were 40th in the rankings because we dismantled them. It was a great performance.
Yeah, because what if Paraguay turns out to be a pretty decent side?
Yeah. I think Friday's a good indication, too. If you can house Australia then and start 2-0, and after what they did to come out there with an impressive 2-0 victory,
sure,
then we can win a group, and then all these people picking us quarterfinals and beyond look good.
Yep, and a massive tip of the cap as the Stanley Cup final came to a conclusion last night. And Carolina, congrats to all of you who had them on the futures or to win the series overall. They take it down 4-2 against the Golden Knights. But right here at VSiN, how about that from Jonathan Davis? 100-1 on Jordan Staal to win the Conn Smythe. And he won it. And that dude was, you mentioned this last week on the show, we're never going to see a drop like this again, where it was 500-1 before the Cup. And he wins.
Probably the comp was NBA Rookie of the Year, but kind of in the other direction. where after the straw poll, Knipple was 2,500. And after a couple games, flag going off, he became the dog. How that flipped. 500 to 1 before the series. As you mentioned, 175 to 1 during game 4, and the guy wins it. Oh,
that was
incredible.
I'm not going to forget that anytime soon.
No.
175 to 1 after he scored his first of 2 goals in game 4 at FanDuel. And that's not in Nevada. I just need to put out the bat signal next time. Hey, hello, please get down on this. I'll send Venmo. Anybody out there?
See how hard it is, because we had a chance with OG. But if a star player goes off, and that's just it's not like he was great over the course of the playoffs. He just emerged and was solid and then spectacular in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
In the last couple of games.
I saw that after it was announced last night on social media. People were like, I guess it's just the final matters now. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna get mad at anything, but
yeah, one for the ages, an all-timer there.
Kind of unfortunate that we don't have a game to talk about this week between the NBA and the NHL. And for that Stanley Cup final could have been in the conversation for like the best of our lifetime. And to go out on a dud like that kind of stunk.
Yep. But that was probably the best 5-game series you're ever going to see. I'd give the NBA a A+ for that. Every game within 2 points in the last 2 minutes.
Sure.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And what the Spurs did in the first quarter, here at Circa, they were 3.5 for the first quarter Saturday and 5 for the game.
5 for the game. On that note, I will give you what had to be the worst beat of the NBA Finals. And yes, I have already made a bet on a team to win its conference next year in the association. I'll tell you which team that is next on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Let me get your attention real quick, podcast listeners. I've got something for you that almost feels too good to be true. First, credit where credit's due. If you're listening to this podcast, you're already leveling up your betting game. You're riding along with our best bets and top angles. And when there's a good game on, you're getting involved with a few props and alt markets as well. There's one more layer if you really want to step things up, and that's VSiN Pro. I've mentioned it before, but things are only getting better for our pro subscribers. We just rolled out our MLB prop projections, breaking down some of the best edges across strikeouts, hits, home runs, and more. And that's on top of everything else pro subscribers already get, including public betting splits, expert picks, and betting guides across the sports calendar. If you haven't tried it yet, stop sleeping on it. You can get your first month just $9.99 or save big with promo code POD26 on the annual subscription. Hit the link in the description and start cashing in with VSiN Pro. All right, back to the show.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Other than the Spurs blowing a 29-point lead in Game 4 of the NBA Finals, that's the worst beat. The second worst beat, and it's correlated here, tied in kind of the same thing. How did that series not go over 5.5 games?
Yes. Excellent call.
They led the series for 72% of game time action, and they lost in 5 games. I can't wrap my head around that.
Every game was the same script.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out to the big lead, up 15, go time for the Knicks about the third quarter, storm back, Fox implodes, they make all the plays down the stretch, Brunson carries them, they win it in 5, incredible. And what a close. They won 15 of their last 16 playoff games and a record for margin of victory.
So they lost more games to the Hawks than they did to the rest of their competition combined.
Yes.
It would work right there for Belgium.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, you believe that?
Would have been a goal.
And also, they were responsible for the first, third, and fifth biggest comebacks in finals history.
All in the same finals.
All in the same finals. Yeah. And how about, I retweeted it. You sent it in there as well. If you money line and did in play at the highest point where they were at in all the games, and then did the rollover, you won $2.4 million. They were down 16, 18, 29, and 15 in the 4 wins. If you grabbed in play then and were able to do something with the rollover then, to think about that.
Well, I hope to God people who were watching the game and the ratings were astronomical, biggest since Jordan again. Please tell me that a majority of people were betting the Knicks in play to come back and win the game. And I tweeted this out after the game was over with. We're watching De'Aaron Fox with the most irrational confidence I've seen since James Harden, maybe more. go 3 of 15, not stop shooting in the entire fourth quarter, and play the entire time for the most part on the court at the same time as Luke Cornett, and they had the lead, who do you think was going to win the game? I was betting the Knicks almost every game when they were down. Not all of them, but almost every game down because I had no confidence in the Spurs team the more it played out. How could you?
Well,
And Mitch Johnson was a disgrace. And he said that he was going to stick with De'Aaron Fox, and he did. 3 of 15. Get off the court.
Yep.
Stop shooting.
Harper was their second best player.
Agreed.
He wouldn't give him the minutes, or you could argue Fox or Johnson, the second best player for the Knicks. How they helped out, and this guy now enters the 4 for 229 extension. He was so bad, I think they have to move him.
Well, how?
Oh,
who's going to trade for him now?
I don't know. People were throwing out Memphis or something. He's still a pretty good player in a regular season.
No, he
Just
is.
to play like that, incredible. How he just fell apart. There was the key sequence there. They were down 15 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and they cut it to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Also, somehow, some way, after they couldn't make a shot in the paint around the perimeter, they scored 37 first-half points, yet were only down 5 at the half. That was another huge win for the Knicks.
Sure.
That they were even in the game at halftime.
Oh, they could do nothing at all offensively in the first quarter, trailed by 10.
Yeah, no help. OG was off. Cat fouls out. Never on the floor. Bridges not bad. Bench did nothing. And they win the game still.
I think we have our answer, by the way, to asking like lifelong New Yorkers and New York sports fans the question over and over and over again, give us the pecking order. And that's been answered. The Knicks are number 1.
Yep.
All you had to do was watch the videos that came out on social media immediately when the game was over with on Saturday night. Some of that stuff from Manhattan and the city and the surrounding, it was just, we've never seen that before. Giants, Yankees, combined, any of it. They are the number 1 team there, and that was proven to me by winning the title. And Brunson now is he's the best Knick of all time.
I agree.
I don't know how you debate that.
I know. I agree. That's to do something only Jordan has done before with 45 in a closeout game on the road and 13 straight points and not getting help from his teammates there and to just time and time again deliver tough shots, getting fouled, no call, almost injured. Wemby should have got another flagrant. I thought he was going to get severely injured there with the didn't give him room to land. He just battled back and just belief. That's his big thing. Always got to believe. And the Nova Knicks did it again. What a story.
I'll ask you this question. So if the Spurs won that game, if they hung on to win it, to force a game 6, I believe like the poly markets of the world prediction markets would have put up a prop bet on will Victor Wembanyama. This is right after game 5 on Saturday night. Will he get suspended for game 6? Because the league can, in theory, go back and look at that.
They would have, and suspended him. Yeah.
They would not have suspended him.
He wasn't playing.
I would have bet my life savings on the no.
That was egregious. I agree with Zach Lowe and others. It was an easy call.
It was
sitting there on a platter for Don. I get it again with the Freudian slip for Foster to blow that. But that's what's that 12-0 ATS now for the Knicks when Foster's on their playoff games. But that was just to go back and after he got the break against Brunson and Grand Theft Alvarado, he was going to be suspended. That was an easy call.
No, that's an obvious flagrant foul. He has to get suspended. I'm telling you right now, I completely disagree. There is absolutely no way the league was going to suspend him. They were not going to play game 6 without him.
They had to do it.
The last 4 winners of the West, Denver, Dallas, Oklahoma City, and San Antonio, and there's a common theme here. You know what it is? We have heard every single time.
Best player?
No, watch out, here comes the dynasty.
Okay.
We heard it in 2023 after Joker won his first one. The dynasty starts right now with Denver. Has not happened. Dallas was a fluke the following year. Then they completely blowtorched the entire organization. Yeah. Oklahoma City, they were going to be, and they had players who were hurt. I get it, but they couldn't make it out of the West this year. They are going to be a dynasty, and the Spurs will absolutely be back. Are we sure? Like they're going to get, is it going to be between Oklahoma City and San Antonio next year? This is great for betting and great for the league. All 8 champions, longest run ever in the NBA, first time ever. Now we've had 8 different champions in a row.
No, it's no gimme, but he's going to improve, and he's got one of the best all time right in his backyard to help him. I would call Duncan, and I would call Olajuwon, and I would develop a low post game to make him become unstoppable. Also, it's refreshing now that you're probably not going to have to run Fox out there as much. You can just lean on the 20-year-old, and you got Harper, Castle, and Wembanyama for years. Make more adjustments, help out with the roster. OKC's going to be tough. You're right. But I think we're going to see them go toe-to-toe in the West for many, many years. But I wouldn't just pencil him in and say he's going to be a fixture in the playoffs or in the finals, though. But it's just you got to be able to close, and that's the thing that's going to haunt them. They were 63-9 during the season when they were up 12-plus points, and they go 1-4 in the finals.
Mitch Johnson said right after the game, we were not ready to win a title.
Yeah.
Well, the players weren't, and certainly he was not as a head coach as well. Was asked a great question last night watching Game 6 with a bunch of friends out and about for the Stanley Cup. Doug Kazarian asked, will Mitch Johnson be the head coach when Victor Wembanyama wins his first championship?
That's a good point. I would say he enters the season on the hot seat because he was so bad. And if they can't go back to the finals or they go out in a disappointing fashion in the Western Conference Finals or something like that, I would definitely say he's entering the season on the hot seat with what happened. Because he was responsible for putting the lineups out there that didn't work and being stubborn and sticking by Fox.
Uh-huh.
So and also running Wembanyama into the ground. Why is he on the floor in the whole third quarter in a 30-point lead?
That's right.
I definitely think he enters on the hot seat. It's a coveted job.
So I think it's more wide open than what most people are going to tell you.
Well, plus 250 is ridiculous.
No, so based on based on the odds, I mean, this is going to be my Charlotte Hornets for this year. JVT and I last night bet the Utah Jazz 150-1 to win the West.
Okay.
They are either going to get Darren Peterson or potentially AJ Debinsa with the second pick of the draft.
Or Boozer. I'm hearing Boozer.
Or maybe Boozer, which I would hate actually. But regardless, they have Keontae George. This is their potential roster depth chart next year. He woulda, shoulda, coulda won most improved player this year until the Jazz decided to tank. He averaged 24 points per game. Ace Bailey, high draft pick last year, averaged 20 points per game in February.
How did Rutgers not make the tournament?
Incredible.
He had Bailey and Harper on the same team.
So look, Paul, they're 9-10 deep.
Yeah.
Markkanen averaged 27 a game last year, career 37% three-point shooter. Jaren Jackson, former defensive player of the year. I don't know if Walker Kessler can stay healthy. He's only played 40, 22, 58 in 5 games in his 4 years, but he's a hell of a defensive player as well. They're going to have Isaiah Collier off the bench. He averaged 9.5 assists in February. He had games of 22, 14, 11, and 10. Probably Darren Peterson. Maybe not. Could be another player. Sensabaugh averaged 15 points per game off the bench, 37% from 3. Filipowski, 11 and 7 off the bench, 18 and 10 in 4 April games. Cody Williams, 15 points per game from March to the end of the year. When they were tanking, they were playing all these backups to get an idea what they were going to be like for this upcoming year, and they all crushed it. And now they're going to go back to their normal backup roles. This is going to be playoff bet, win total bet, and 150-1 to win the West. Absolutely. Had to bet that.
All right. I was going to say Portland until today because it appears that steam on Paulie market, Giannis to Miami. Because I thought the 3-way with Miami, Boston, and Portland was going to happen. There's a lot of connected people said it was picking up steam.
I know.
But then if you follow the money, there was a big move at Paulie market on Giannis to Miami, and that's a pretty good offer from Miami. But then again, he says he only wants to go to Miami.
That's pretty big. Did Windhorse have that today?
I didn't know. I didn't see who had it.
Okay.
No, but I saw the move. But I know it was Zach Lowe and others saying everything they're hearing is saying good chance he goes to Boston over the weekend.
We'll continue the discussion coming up. Get some best bets from Nick Whalen here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, World Cup update. They just put a graphic on the screen showing Lukaku's goal scoring in his history, like an international play. Like 10 seconds later, he scores. Now, here's the deal. It's 1-1. They're going back and looking at it right now. I believe it's an own goal, Paulie, the way it looks. But they credited Lukaku in the box score. Is that correct?
As of now, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
They could correct that. But it's 1-1 hydration break time, 67th minute.
Yep.
They corrected it to an own goal.
That's the third of the tournament already, I believe.
And you have what, under 10.5?
Yeah. A team to rally from behind and win was 11-1. if that cashes, because Belgium's been great in the second half.
We head out here to the Progressive guest line. Nick Whalen joins the program now, does a great job with RotoWire, and on a daily basis here, Monday through Friday on VSiN Prop Points, 1 o'clock Eastern time with Jeff Erickson. Nick, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm doing well, guys, but the basketball season is over. Missing it already. At least we got the draft, 8 days away. But after that, we're going to go into, a bit of a rough period for me here as an NFL and NBA guy.
Well, I said this, Paul and I talked about this to begin the show. I don't know how that series did not go over 5.5 games. That's a horrible beat. Hence us not getting one more game this week, which I can't believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question. I was looking this up the other night because, once again on Saturday, it felt like we just kind of watched the same game that we've seen at least 3 other times in these finals. And even the game that the Spurs won followed a pretty similar script, which is San Antonio coming out hot, building a double-digit lead in the first quarter. And then, especially as the series went along, we just kind of knew it was inevitable that the Knicks, even though they're down 13 to 17 to 20 plus even in one of these games, you just knew they were going to rally back. But the Knicks ended up leading for 23%, guys, of a series that they won in 5 games, which is remarkable.
Yes, well said. How do you feel about them next year and this incredible team that closed 15-1 with a record margin of victory? If Boston stays pat, doesn't get Giannis, how do you feel about the Knicks running it back next year and their chances?
Well, the Giannis to Boston thing is starting to feel more and more real. Depending on what you read, it sounds like he's going to Miami one day and then Boston the next. So we'll see where he ends up. But even in a scenario where they get Giannis, I don't know that I'm ready to just fully lock in the Boston Celtics. They'll be the betting favorite and rightfully so. But do we know Giannis will be available? Jason Tatum is still coming off of an Achilles. It's likely going to cost them Jaylen Brown. They're not just adding Giannis to the current team. So I think the Knicks should be viewed as kind of right there with Boston. But it is interesting because it's a totally different conversation than the one we were having this time last year when OKC, even though it took them 7 games, and I didn't think it should have taken 7 games to beat that Pacers team, it wasn't, well, will OKC be the favorites next year? It was, who's beating this team for the next decade? And for as dominant as the Knicks were over the last month, I don't think anybody really feels that way about this team, even though Mitchell Robinson is kind of the only piece they could lose this offseason. It is a slightly older team, I guess, in the fact that, they're not led by like a 23, 24-year-old, like so many of these great players in the NBA right now. But there's no reason to believe that the New York Knicks should really fall off. But I don't think anybody looks at them and says, oh, they're just going to run the Eastern Conference for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I'm looking right now, Poly Market. So Giannis's next team odds, by the way, this has been moving all over the place this morning.
Yeah.
Miami currently sitting as a 40% chance to get him. That's plus 150. Boston is at 35%. To me, if he goes to Miami, they're going to gut their entire team, and I'm not going to expect much from the Heat next year.
That's the thing. I mean, it would put a ton of pressure on Giannis to not only play at an extremely high level, but stay healthy the entire season and even in the regular season, right? I think with a lot of these stars, we just think, well, if they're healthy for the playoffs, and maybe he's at that level where that's what you need. But the East is going to be deep enough and competitive enough that if Giannis misses 20 plus games in the regular season, the Heat could be like the 6th or the 7th seed. There's just not going to be that much around him in Miami. And, Boston, I think, would certainly be a better supporting cast, but a lot of those guys that we were praising throughout the regular season, the Derek Whites and the Peyton Pritchards and the Baylor Shiremans, I thought kind of fell off as the year went along. So I don't necessarily feel like Boston, if they send out Jaylen Brown, if they bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo, again, they'll be a very, very good team. But I don't know that I would look at the Celtics and say, man, who's beating them in the East? I still think it's going to be a really, really competitive conference.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great situation with San Antonio and how well Harper played. And Wembanyama can just go reach out to Duncan and say, help me with a low post game. But you want to talk about horrific timing, that how Fox killed you, and now the 4 for $229 extension kicks in, and it'd be tough to move them. What would you do with this if you're San Antonio?
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, especially with how Fox played to close out the series, right? It was one thing to make the mistakes that he did in the big comeback game, but then to respond and go 3 of 15 from the field, along with Castle going 1 for 10. And there were some kind of weird comments, I thought, from Devin Vassell, who let it slip that Dylan Harper maybe wasn't happy with his role during the regular season. This is something that the Spurs are going to have to address. The idea of getting off the Fox contract, maybe it's something they look into, but as you alluded, it's not nearly as easy as you would think, right? I mean, there are teams that would love to bring in De'Aaron Fox, the player, how many teams are going to be willing to take that contract? Are we already to the point where San Antonio would almost have to pay to get off of it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Fox's value is probably as low as it's been this very moment in a long time. But at the same time, De'Aaron Fox is still a really good player. He's been an all-star to a borderline all-star for most of his career. So I think if I'm San Antonio, I'm not panicking quite yet, just because, there were like 2.5 bad games from De'Aaron Fox. Yes, they came at the worst possible time, but I don't look at this as some sort of like albatross contract that's going to be a glaring negative for them.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Nick Whalen with RotoWire. Also a daily show here on VSiN Monday through Friday called Prop Points at 1 o'clock Eastern time on the Progressive Guest Line. The team I was making a case for, and I bet last night, it's to come out of the West, not the East, but it's Utah. I'm going to love their roster. I don't know how you don't. Next year entering the season, 150 to 1 to win the West. I want all of it, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to talk you out of it. I think we could be looking at a team that makes like an all-time year-over-year leap, partially because they've been tanking for 2.5 years at this point. We're not used to the Utah Jazz even trying to win games, but man, I think they're fine with Peterson. They're fine with DeBonsa. They might even be fine with Boozer. They'd be fine if they were picking fourth and adding Caleb Wilson. I mean, this team on paper, again, as far as like really bad teams go, it's about as exciting as it gets, I think, looking ahead to next year. I mean, you could be rolling out Keontae George, Darren Peterson, Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, and Jaren Jackson Jr. as your starting five, bringing Ace Bailey off the bench. When we talk about some of these futures, like obviously it would be very unexpected that the Utah Jazz are in the NBA Finals. It usually doesn't go that quickly. You usually don't see these deep underdogs make those kind of runs. But I think something that is forgotten in this conversation, especially when we're having it in mid-June, is just how much injuries impact this every single year. I mean, we could just look at these playoffs and the amount of players that I think, their absences swung series. OKC missing Jalen Williams, missing AJ Mitchell, Luka, Reeves, Ant, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid in Philly, Jason Tatum in Boston, Franz Wagner in Orlando. Some of these scenarios that seem totally implausible look a lot more plausible when injuries pop up late in the year.
Great point. Excellent. It's a war of attrition. At DraftKings, it pays 6 to 1 to go DeBansa, Boozer, and then Peterson, exact order. Are you concerned with this Peterson? Number one, the creatine, or I'm only going to talk to the Wizards. I'm not going to meet with other teams.
I've kind of been in the weeds with the draft for long enough, guys, that I'm starting to almost throw stuff like this out. I mean, we went through this wild saga with Ace Bailey this time last year where it's like, what is going on with his agent? And he's trying to maneuver his landing spot. And it's like, is he going to fall out of the top 10 or team's just not going to draft him? Didn't end up mattering whatsoever. Utah took him anyway. And by the end of the year, he looked like a pretty good pick. So with Peterson, he's kind of had this thing through the whole process where he very clearly cares about being the number one overall pick. I don't know if this is like messaging to, hey, I'm only going to work out for the team holding the number one overall pick. He's the type of prospect that is not going to fall out of the top 3, in my opinion. I think people are going to be willing to make a lot of excuses for him. We still don't know exactly what was going on at Kansas, but the good tape with him is so good that I just don't really see NBA teams overlooking that. I mean, these teams have a long history of taking swings on guys who have had much bigger question marks than Peterson.
In about a minute left here, do you have a bet tonight in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, this is what happens when we don't have NBA on the slate. I got to, start exercising my baseball betting chops. On our show, I took the over 9 in Rays Dodgers. I do not trust either pitcher here. We got Nick Martinez going up against Eric Lauer. Lauer in particular has been incredibly shaky. He's allowed at least 1 homer in 9 straight starts. He's got a 5.56 ERA, a 1.3 WHIP in that span. Last 3 games that he has pitched in, because he's allowing so many runs, the Dodgers then have a little more urgency offensively. Those games have ended 15, 11, and 21 runs. 7 of his last 9 starts have been a game that produced at least 9 runs. So we'll take the over 9 and Rays Dodgers.
Very good. Follow Nick on X, by the way, at Whalen, but replace the letter L with the number 1. So WHA1EN. And you can hear him every single day, Monday through Friday, with Jeff Erickson on Prop Points at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Thanks, Nick. Best of luck tonight.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Join
us here on the Progressive Guest Line. 1-1 right now, approaching the 78th minute. Belgium, and they're pressing again. I took a little bit on them at plus 140 to win the match before we get into extra time coming up in about 13 minutes.
Draw $1.30.
Okay. Win, lose up next. This is why June is so good, this year particularly. It might be a lengthier version today than Paul runs down during the football season. That's coming up next.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, it is an absolute banger. Spain, draw, 12-1. 0-0 detector was out, 28-1 here at Circa. Incredible. Friday, USA Paraguay, 4-1 exact score, 40-1. Goal in the first 10 minutes. Yes, 5-1. It was an own goal as well, 5-1. Balogun, 2 goals, 17-1. First goal, 6-1. BTTS, plus 105. Saturday, the Swiss couldn't put Qatar away. Hanging around. The equalizer late. Draw, plus 460. Both teams to score, plus 165. Exact score, 1-1, 12-1. Swiss to score on a penalty, plus 275. Brazil-Morocco was fantastic. Also a draw, plus 280. Exact score, 1-1, 7-1. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. Scotland, 1-0 over Haiti. Exact score, plus 625. Australia with the shocker. Bludgeon Turkey, plus 450. 2-0 exact score, 33-1. To win to 0, 11-1. Sunday, Germany, goal in the first 10, 4-1. Both teams to score, plus 205. Netherlands, Japan, 2-2 exact score, 15-1. BTTS also cashes. Draw, plus 265. Ivory Coast, plus 275 against Ecuador. 1-0, plus 730. First win against a higher-ranked opponent ever for them in the World Cup. And as I mentioned earlier, a record. 4 shots hit the post. Most since 1982 in a World Cup match. Sweden, Tunisia, goal in the first 10, plus 480. 5-1 exact score, 60-1. Orange and blue skies. Knicks get it done, plus 180 on the money line. 9 wins in a row on the road. They got the opening tip again. 4-1. First basket, Wemby, plus 350. Hart double-double, 3-1. Harper, 20-plus points, plus 270. First 3 of the game, Brunson, 5-1. Most threes in the game, Brunson and Champagnie, dead heat, 5-1. Robinson, 10-plus boards, 8-1. To lead the series in threes, OG by 1 over Champagnie. Most rebounds, Wembanyama. Most assists, good call, Paul Bovey. Fox, 6-1 in that range. Brunson had 20 points in every game, plus 240. Will a player score 45 or more? Yes, plus 850. 35 points in game 5 for Brunson, plus 330. 45 was 14-1. Before the playoffs started, 40-1. Finals MVP. They were 35-1 to win the title after they lost game 3 to Atlanta. They were 12-1 to win in 5. To win every game on the road in the series was 9-1. They won 15 of their last 16. They were 6-2 when they trailed by double digits in the playoffs. Another incredible stat. There was a prop, faraway places. Will Cat foul out? Yes, was 10-1. Spurs went 5-0 ATS in the first quarter, and again here at Circa, minus 3.5 for the quarter, minus 5 for the game. What a run. The Knicks were outscored by 57 points in the series in the first quarter. Madness. Game 6. Last night, all first goals 16-1. Hurricanes by shutout 9-1. Other places had 12. They were 9-1 to win the cup before the season started. Exact score 3-0 was 35-1. Stahl, Conn Smythe 500-1 before the series. 100-1, 175-1 before Game 4. Hart went under his saves all 6 games in regulation. UFC Freedom 250. Lopez round 2 6-1. O'Malley round 2 7-1. Gane round 2 11-1. Gaethje plus 380. TKO 6-1. Good call, Lou Finocchiaro. First time ever a card every fight ended in a knockout. All right. Friday, Bichette 2 bombs 98-1. Alvarez 2 bombs in the same inning 38-1. Subscribe, be part of the team. vsin.com. Our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. This is making the rounds. This is all over social media. The guys, is it Stud, Texas Hold'em? He hit the progressive, the Royal Flush, for $1.1 million. And there it is. He's losing his mind. You see the screen light up and the hugs. A lot of people were criticizing the dealer. I don't have a problem with it. The dealer was pointing to other players. Why didn't you do the side bet? You want to win $5,000. I wouldn't say she's rubbing in her face, but it's just the dealer pointing out, hey, why didn't you bet the side bet?
Where was this at?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I might have been here, somewhere in Las Vegas. I don't know, though. And I can't tell the game either. I think it's Texas Hold'em. I could, or Caribbean Stud or something, whatever it is. So great job. And a friend of ours hit this. He just walked into town, I think on his third hand, playing video poker. Double, held one ace. It came ace, ace, ace for 20 dimes. Needed the kicker, but hell, you'll take it. That is rare. That's hard to do.
Single play.
No kidding. That is
Damn.
found money. One ace, and it comes ace, ace, ace on your big boy. Well done there. And it was a study. You save, over the course of your lifetime, you'll save 2 days. An extra 2 days if you use the Irish goodbye, as opposed to the long goodbye and thanks for the invite. Good to see you.
Who's running the math on this?
Somebody sent it to me.
2 days?
You gain over 2 days if you stick
Not a
with
chance.
with the Irish goodbye.
48
as
hours.
opposed to the longest.
Give me a break.
Well, how many parties do you go to? And how many times do you say, hey, we got to thank them afterwards? And a lot of time goes into that. You know?
2 days of
about
your
it.
life.
They ran the numbers down. Pretty good. Lose some. Spurs 1-8 in the playoffs when held under 110 points. Led for 72% of the series, up double digits in every game. And again, the Knicks, the first, third, and fifth biggest comebacks all time in finals history. Did it in the same series in the bad beat over 5.5 games, minus 180. Every game within 2 points in the last 2 minutes. Yet the thing ends in 5. Sports calendar never stops. Sharp Plays covers it all, winning for 15 straight years, all of it documented. When they move, the books take notice. Advanced AI, trusted insider intel. They find the value before the numbers shift. Respected, watched, and feared. Start winning with them. SharpPlays.com. They reach out to over 500 sources and bettors worldwide across all sports and send it out to subscribers in real time. Get on board now. SharpPlays.com.
So a couple of reports today in the NBA. I brought that up earlier about Windhorst. It was, in fact, Brian, windy. Antetokounmpo has been focused on playing for the Heat, per Brian. Quote, talks have intensified over the last 7 to 10 days. He is focused on wanting to be a member of the Miami Heat. There's another report that came out. The Clippers have emerged as a potential third team for Jaylen Brown in a Giannis deal where they would send the number 5 pick to Milwaukee. So the potential multi-team framework making the rounds here would bring Giannis to Boston and send Jaylen Brown to the Clippers, with the Clippers' number 5 overall pick going to Milwaukee as part of the return. As people responded to that post on X, if the 5th pick's going to be involved from the Clippers, why don't they get Giannis? Do they have, but they would prefer Jaylen Brown while giving up the 5th pick overall in the most loaded draft we've had in years?
Interesting. I would hurry up and make this trade if they want to do it. Because who knows when that aspiration ruling's coming down as well.
Uh-huh.
So I would hurry up with that. You don't want to have here's the ruling. Here's what they found. Oh, they're taking away the pick.
Remember
something crazy happened.
Yeah, we had Matt Brown on from Action Network last week. And he said that if
Matt Moore.
Who did I say?
Matt Brown.
Yeah, Matt Moore. Sorry.
Yep.
Matt Brown's a host here at VSiN. Matt Moore was on last week, and he said if the series ends in 5 games, you can expect a flurry on Giannis, potentially get done by today.
Yeah.
And if that deal is actually out there and doable, where the Heat are going to give up like 6 players and a bunch of picks, I don't know how the Bucks say no to that.
I would have to take that deal too.
So
it remains to be seen if Hawkes is going to be involved in it. But if it's going to be Hawkes, Hero, picks and where, yeah, I got to jump on that.
So do I. I don't know. The Minnesota offer that we originally thought was going to exist could be the one that would top it. But then a report came out late last week that the Wolves are absolutely not going to trade Jaden McDaniels.
Could the Spurs send Fox to Minnesota? Could that be a possible landing spot? I mean,
what would they get in return?
I don't know. Probably the DiVincenzo contract and some other pieces. I don't know. I don't know what that would look like, but also that could be a possible.
Trade him back to Sacramento?
Yeah. Somebody made a good point, too, that even if you had a guy like Chris Paul, because he was the king at the alley-oop in Lob City, if I just had Chris Paul in those finals, I probably would have won. Wouldn't have turned it over, and I would have been perfect set up Wembanyama.
Yeah, we could probably we could make a list of like 15 players in the league.
But because he was on the team, though, I think a year ago, and then they let him walk. Just to have a veteran like that who could have helped you out.
Oh, he picked
But man.
I mean, I've been watching Fox since he was at Kentucky, and I love the kid then. He picked absolutely the worst time in his career to play unspeakably bad basketball.
Yeah, he'll be haunted by game 4. And just afterwards, well, it is what it is. What?
Kind of joking around about it.
Come on, man. Back it out.
All right, World Cup betting's up next. Anthony DeBundo on the program. USA is now a heavy favorite to win their group, but they get Australia on Friday, who shut out everybody sneaky pick in Turkey over the weekend. What's the play? We'll ask him next here on VSiN.